Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another episode of our channel. I'm James.
And I'm Emily. Thanks for tuning in today.
Before we dive into today's lesson, you might have noticed that our channel name has changed to Fluent Path English.
That's right. The new name reflects our goal to provide a clear path for everyone to become fluent in English.
With the start of a new year and a fresh name, we're more excited than ever to help you on your English learning journey.
Absolutely. Let's keep working together and make great progress this year.
All right, now let's jump into today's lesson. Emily, what's on the menu for today?
Oh, it's funny you say menu because today's dialogue is all about food. Specifically, we'll be talking about a very popular dish, stir fry.
Stir fry. That's a great topic. It's such a versatile and delicious meal, isn't it?
Absolutely. But there's a bit of drama in today's dialogue. One person's idea of a stir fry might not match another's.
Yeah, I can already imagine the heated debates over what makes a proper stir fry. But Emily, before we listen to the dialogue, can you explain what stir fry is for anyone who might not be familiar?
Of course! Stir fry is a cooking method where small pieces of food are quickly fried in a little oil over high heat. It's a common dish in many Asian cuisines, and typically includes a mix of vegetables, protein like meat or tofu, and a savory sauce. The key is to keep the ingredients moving so they cook evenly and maintain their texture.
Sounds delicious. It's quick, healthy, and so flavorful.
That's right. And now, let's jump into the dialogue for the first time. It's gonna be kind of fast.
But don't worry if you don't understand everything. By the end of today's lesson, you will understand this dialogue.
Oh man, I had the best supper last night. My wife made a stir fry and it was amazing.
I love stir fry. Crispy bite-sized vegetables covered in a mixture of soy sauce and oyster sauce. Wilted greens and fresh bean sprouts. Throw in some onion and garlic and ginger. It's almost lunchtime. I would die for a plate of stir fry right now.
Well, you can keep the vegetables. I'll take the meat. The stir fry my wife made was really hearty, with chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers and onion.
What? You call that a stir fry? More meat than vegetables? That's the worst insult you could throw at a Chinese stir fry. What a disgrace to the wok she fried it in. What you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap.
All right, so it seems like we've got some strong opinions on what makes a stir fry authentic.
Definitely. One person's amazing stir fry might be another's disgrace to the wok.
Exactly. And that's what makes food discussions so interesting. Everyone has their own preferences and standards.
Right. And sometimes those differences lead to the best conversations or even new recipe ideas.
Yeah, maybe that happens sometimes. All right, now, let's break down some of the key phrases from the dialogue.
In the dialogue, one of the men describes his ideal stir fry. So let's start with these phrases. The first one is crispy, bite-sized vegetables.
Crispy, bite-sized vegetables.
Crispy, bite-sized vegetables. Crispy means crunchy or firm when you bite into it. You could say, I love crispy fried chicken. Or, the lettuce in this salad is so crispy. And bite-sized means small enough to fit in your mouth in one bite. You could say, I love bite-sized pieces of fruit. They're perfect for snacking. Or, these bite-sized sandwiches are great for parties.
And next, he also described the vegetables as wilted greens.
Wilted greens.
Wilted greens. Wilted greens refers to leafy vegetables, like spinach or bok choy, that have softened and slightly shrunk after cooking. It's common in stir fries. By the way, Emily, do you prefer crispy vegetables or wilted vegetables?
It's hard to choose. Crispy vegetables, they have such a fresh and satisfying texture. But wilted vegetables, like in stir fries, also have their charm. They soak up the sauce beautifully and bring out a deeper flavor. I'd say I enjoy both, depending on my mood.
Yeah, me too. It's hard to choose. But you know, Emily, sometimes mixing crispy and wilted vegetables in the same dish can create the perfect balance. The crunchiness complements the softness, making the stir-fry even more delicious.
Totally agree. All right, next important phrase is chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers.
Chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers.
Chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers.
So, Emily, what's the difference between a chunk and a sliver?
Good question, James. A chunk is a large, thick piece of something. So, chunks of beef means big, hearty pieces of meat.
And slivers?
Slivers are the opposite. They're thin, narrow slices. So, slivers of bell peppers refers to delicate, thin strips of the vegetable.
So a chunk is big and filling, while a sliver is light and subtle.
Exactly. The two textures complement each other perfectly in a dish like stir-fry.
Great. Okay, now, it's time to listen to the dialogue a second time. Try to get how the man describes his favorite stir-fry.
Oh man, I had the best supper last night. My wife made a stir-fry and it was amazing.
I love stir-fry. Crispy bite-sized vegetables covered in a mixture of soy sauce and oyster sauce. Wilted greens and fresh bean sprouts. Throw in some onion and garlic and ginger. It's almost lunchtime. I would die for a plate of stir-fry right now.
Well, you can keep the vegetables. I'll take the meat. The stir-fry my wife made was really hearty, with chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers and onion.
What? You call that a stir-fry? More meat than vegetables? That's the worst insult you could throw at a Chinese stir-fry. What a disgrace to the wok she fried it in. What you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap.
Okay, now that we've gone over the food descriptions, let's talk about the cultural aspect. Stir-fry is traditionally vegetable-heavy, so he is upset that his friend's stir-fry had more meat than vegetables.
Yeah, in many Asian cuisines, balance is key. Too much of one ingredient can throw off the harmony of the dish. All right, let's look at some more key phrases from the dialogue.
Okay, today's fourth phrase is I would die for.
I would die for.
I would die for. This is a common way to say that you really, really want something or love something. It's a bit dramatic, but it's used for emphasis.
Right. Like if I say, I would die for a slice of chocolate cake right now, it means I'm craving it so much.
Exactly. Another example could be, she would die for tickets to that concert, meaning she really wants them so much.
It's definitely a fun way to exaggerate how much you love or desire something.
All right, James, what's next?
The next phrase is hearty.
Hearty.
Hearty. This word is often used to describe food that is filling and satisfying. For example, a hearty stew means a rich, substantial meal that leaves you feeling full.
Right. It's the kind of food that feels comforting and nourishing, like hearty chunks of beef in the dialogue.
Exactly. Another example might be, I love a hearty breakfast to start the day, meaning a big, satisfying meal in the morning.
It's a great word to describe dishes that are both delicious and filling.
All right, Emily, what's the next phrase?
The next phrase is disgrace.
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 This word means something that brings shame or dishonor. For example, it's a disgrace to waste so much food means it's shameful to let food go to waste.
Right. And in the dialogue, when he says, what a disgrace to the wok she fried it in, he's saying that the stir-fry was so far from the traditional style that it disrespected the wok itself.
Exactly. It's a humorous way to criticize the dish for having more meat than vegetables, which is not typical in a Chinese stir-fry.
Great. Now let's move on to today's final phrase.
Okay, the last one is be equivalent to.
Be equivalent to.
Be equivalent to.
Be equivalent to something means to be equal in value, function, or meaning to something else. For example, if you say, this amount of sugar is equivalent to 1 teaspoon, it means they are the same in quantity.
Exactly. And in the dialogue, when he says, what you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap, He's saying that the dish lacked an essential component, just like a fajita would be incomplete without the wrap.
Right. It's a humorous way to point out that the stir-fry didn't follow the usual balance of ingredients.
That's a useful phrase for making comparisons or clarifying similarities.
All right, that's it for today's key phrases. Let's listen to the dialogue one last time.
Oh man, I had the best supper last night. My wife made a stir fry and it was amazing.
I love stir fry. Crispy bite-sized vegetables covered in a mixture of soy sauce and oyster sauce. Wilted greens and fresh bean sprouts. Throw in some onion and garlic and ginger. It's almost lunchtime. I would die for a plate of stir fry right now.
Well, you can keep the vegetables. I'll take the meat. The stir fry my wife made was really hearty, with chunks of beef and slivers of bell peppers and onion.
What? You call that a stir fry? More meat than vegetables? That's the worst insult you could throw at a Chinese stir fry. What a disgrace to the wok she fried it in. What you had is equivalent to a fajita without the wrap.
We covered a lot today. Today's lesson was really hearty, don't you think?
Definitely. It was packed with useful phrases and tips. Now I'm stuffed. There was so much to learn. By the way, James, what's your go-to stir-fry recipe?
Oh, I keep it simple. Chicken, broccoli, carrots, and a soy garlic sauce. What about you?
I love adding tofu and cashews for extra protein and crunch. Stir-fry is so versatile.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for today's lesson. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned some useful phrases to spice up your conversations.
Remember to practice these phrases and try making your own stir-fry at home.
And if you do, let us know in the comments what ingredients you used.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.